Okay, I think we're good to go. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I checked the stream settings, but we'll see. Hopefully it's alright. In stream, the live stream appears to be on. Cool. That's cool. That's awesome. Hang on a minute. There we go. Cool. Glow. Yay! I can hear my music in here now. That's great. So just for anyone who's here, I released an album. It's not the prettiest album art, but I released an album with 12 tracks on it here. And there's lots of different songs here, and I haven't actually looked at this since I uploaded it. I haven't promoted it or really done anything with it because I've sort of just, after I released it, yeah, I don't know why I put my full name in there. That's probably not good for privatization reasons. And I know that people will probably be ignoring me talking right now and just trying to figure out how to put a submission through. So I will open those up. They are $6 now. So it's $6 to put a donation through, a request for a song. Hopefully people are okay with that. But welcome, I suppose. Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Livestreams for $6 song reviews on the 6th of January, 2025. Happy New Year to you. Hopefully you're well. Hopefully your family is well. It's good to be back into doing stuff on the channel. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to do so. I enjoyed my break. Hopefully you did too. I think I scheduled this live stream to start at 12 and we're about 10 minutes late, but we made it. And that's the most important thing. It's good. And I think the best thing you can do when you run a YouTube channel is actually do what you say you're going to do. And so I turned up today, and that's what matters. I suppose. But yeah. So yeah, I released an album. That's me there. I'll make myself small. And yeah, again, the album design is not my strong point, but it's I Am Done Volume 1. And it's out on Spotify if you want to check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff, you know. There's It sounds kind of quiet. I'm wondering if like Spotify has like kind of crushed it a bit, but yeah, but anyways, it's fine. So it's reduced down to 14, I think, just to avoid any issues with loudness. But that's cool. So yeah. And if you want to check if I can play any instruments, you can check out the album and stuff. There's also a Christmas track at the end. It's actually a similar kind of aesthetic across the album arts, which I kind of like. And in a way. Yeah. That's cool. Thank you, sweet little love. How you doing? Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how it sounded. I mean, at the point where you release an album, as you're aware, because you also release music, you kind of go into a sense of a trance, listening through the music and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't, and trying to find little nuances. And if you listen to it on a streaming platform and something sounds off, by that point you've probably listened to it at least 3 dozen times through the exact same stuff that you're listening to it through on a streaming platform. So it's like, what can you do at that point? But yeah. Sup, Hanson Jew, welcome to the live stream. Hopefully you're well. Hopefully you've been taking care of yourself. I'm just gonna like make sure that I've done all of the stuff I need to do. I think we're well beyond the point of having that done. So that's cool. So the last live stream, I think, was on the 7th of December. That's kind of wild. But hopefully you all are having a nice new year. How about you, sweet little love and Hanson Jew? You guys Having a great New Year so far? We have got a track here from Sweet Lily Love. If we go into listening time now, we're going to check that out. We have a URL, which is a good start. And we're going to go Sweet Lily Love. Thanks for your request. Good. I'm glad to hear that it's okay so far. That's awesome. Have you been keeping to your New Year's resolutions? This is 2053 by Sweet Little Love. This is the first track today. This is an original, I assume, so that's cool. That's awesome. Let's do it. We'll keep it like this for now. I like the build with the synths, man. Pretty dope.
Slaves to the new Sonic Order.
And those chord note kicks, man. The accents are dope. Glad you enjoyed the videos, Hanson. And it's great to come down from that intensity there. How did you get the video to do this? Is this like a video you created personally, or is it like a software interpreting this the way you make the music and it kind of moves the thing in time with it, or? Because the video is really cool. Thank you. Kind of makes you wonder what 2053 is going to be like. That'd be pretty awesome if everyone was kind of just like dancing and having a great time. I feel like that's a really sweet self-contained track. 2053 by Sweet Lily Love. Thank you for the request. It's great to hear originals. I just want to go back to that vocal quote at the start.
Slaves to the new Sonic Order.
Yeah, so what I appreciate about this, just to sort of first off, is I think it's just very sort of, it's very simple with the story it's trying to tell here. It's more about the music rather than trying to guide you through a narrative. But it does, the music does kind of encourages you to almost sort of be a slave to the groove of it. There's so many interesting ideas, especially in regards to the percussion and stuff like that. So many twists and turns that it's compelling and it never becomes stale. I think that there is this main sort of like that kind of modulates between the two, and it's very satisfying that loop there. I feel like if the song was longer than this, you would have needed to have changed it more than we had. Like, granted, when that middle section, I think we switched chord progressions and had like a variation of the existing intensity, and I like that we were aware that we needed to switch things up in that midsection. I'm also glad that we were confident with that existing main sort of melodic motif there, because I feel like when you're trying to make a catchy track, you need to put everything behind that. With that said, and in all honesty, I feel like that again, the percussion for me was a high point. Lots of different risers, synth risers, and the bass line was pumping, and I appreciate the intensity of those chord note kicks and all that. But it's the different 8th and 16th and 32nd, and the doubling of the speed of the different drums, and the way that kind of rise up and then boom, and then you just have things kind of float out as well. It's just there's dynamic range to it. I feel like it was a good use of time without any filler within it. I think, it was well contained. Just having a quick listen through the. And so there were parts without that lead motif as well, which was cool, because then you just got to appreciate the side pads and the bass and the drums and stuff like that, which I think, again, added more variety to it. And then you've also, yeah, exactly. It's like, it's a song where if you need multiple listens through it to really get all the nuances from it. But I like the fact that when I go back through the track, you find something, oh yeah, there was that thing. Oh yeah, that was that thing. And I think that shows an understanding of how to write music well, because it shows you're not too reliant on a specific angle. I mean, just the filtering at the start as well. Like you give the person the idea almost immediately. You're not making them wait too long to get to that point, but it's also not everything at once. So I think that it's meant to sound kind of frenetic and super spicy and jumpy and peppy, because it's trying to get you to get up and jump and sort of be like, just kind of go along with what it's trying to do. It's trying to excite you and get you into it. I don't think you could have approached a track like this a different way where it would have worked better. It's like a minorish initial to the way that main melody is expressed, but then you modulate it up and it becomes a bit sort of funkier, and it becomes a little bit, it's not like a sad sounding track. It's more like it's kind of menacing and how it's, but it's like a menacing that you want to be a part of. So I think the studio production is solid. You can hear everything in the mix. The filtering is tight. The leveling across the board is good. I've got no complaints about it. I think it's a really good use of time. I feel like it's a really competent piece within the hardcore genre. And yeah, I mean, it's I don't know what more you could want. And that's with a lack of bias. It's been an interesting journey reviewing Sweet Little Love stuff, and I feel like that I've said this before. Like probably 6 months ago I was saying this, but they're at a point where they really seem comfortable with what they're making, and it's great. Well done. It's tight. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. That was a great song. You're welcome, Sweet Lily Love. What have we got next? We've got Hanson Ju. Hanson Ju. I'm sorry, my auto transcriber doesn't always understand what I say because I'm not saying it correctly. And I'm trying to say it correctly. And yeah, Hanson, I'm glad that you enjoyed the videos about Zhang Yuxing and Wang Feng. I would like to check out more Wang Feng in future. I've already looked through Zhang Yuxing's entire album discography. But Wang Feng is someone I'm being very careful about this year. I want to do it. I'm avoiding committing to stuff, but I would like to hear more from them. There you go. That's a good compromise. So this is, again, it is from Hanson. And this is Back Then. And we have lyrics as well, which I don't usually feature the lyrics in the review because that can take more time. And when it's busier, I don't always have more time. But I can definitely look into them on my own side. I think that'd be good. This is Yue, Back Then. It's a fun sounding track with the synths and guitars. With the synths and guitars.
那一年你正年轻，总觉得明天肯定会很美。那理想世界就像一道光芒，在你心里闪耀着。怎能就让这不停燃烧的心，就这样耗尽，消失在平庸里？你决定上路，就离开这城市，离开你深爱多年的姑娘。
It's an interesting decision to have the strings as a sublayer. It allows a lot of room for the vocalist in the mix. And it's just a really satisfying lead section and really well behaved within the mix. It's just such a charming performance, isn't it? Because that was, as I understand it, Back Then by Zhu Wei. So let's have a check through this. And just to respond, Hanson, while I can't commit specifically to review all of the music that people send through that I can't commit to reviewing all the stuff that people recommend. I will. I would like. I want to review a Wang Feng song. I want to check out another Wang Feng song at some point. As I know, I've enjoyed the music, but also I know other people do too. So yeah, I'm just putting that out there as well. I would like to, but to be fair, I also don't know what stuff people recommend, so recommendations are helpful. Thank you very much. I'm just having a quick look through the lyrics here. So my understanding after reading through the lyrics of this track, just really quickly, is that back then is about someone who is, it's like someone talking to another. It's saying, don't give up. I know things might have been different at that stage in the past, but like that's no reason to think that things won't improve in future. Don't let that burning heart be extinguished by mediocrity. You decide to escape this place, leaving behind the girl that you love. So clearly they're not happy about what occurred, but it's also like, don't give up. There's no reason why you can't find the strength you used to have. It's terrible at this point in time, but you can make it through. It's an understanding of the position they're in psychologically within their life and stuff like that, looking back and how things used to be. But it's just such a calm, measured, beautiful performance from the singer. They're so chill and easy to listen to throughout. You can tell that they're saying all the stuff with kindness. And I really think that's the best way to approach something like this. If you had added any extra kind of grittiness to the vocal performance, it might have seemed a bit harsh. So I appreciate the way they've expressed ourselves. We also have really competent vocal technique as well, comfortable on our chest and head voice. And it's well-rounded and seems appropriate for the mood. And I think that we had a lot of, we put a lot of effort into creating really compelling vocal melodies as well that explored the scale range and also had similar journeys to some of the guitar and synth parts, which I like. Either they were based off of that or vice versa, and it was very effective. This track at 4 minutes 07, I think, is really well-rounded. I've got nothing but love for the fact that we were able to make a nice, chill, cheery song that I think backed up the story and the vocals really neatly in regards to the tone, the textures, and timbres. It's great because the guitars, this kind of jangly, clean tone on a single coil, was strummed open chords and bar chords. Maybe a bit. I vaguely remember a bit of sort of overdrive or something for a little bit of edge, but not to an extent where it was overbearing. I think that was smart because again, it's taking away any sort of rough edges to make this a sweeter sounding track. It's a smart move. I mean, the bass line in the bottom was kind of bouncy. It bounced around a little bit, but predominantly sticking with the root notes and the drums. There were lots of different snare and sort of cymbal and some tom grooves there, working around a variety of different chops. They're very comfortable exploring the drum kit there, which was good. And we played really tightly as well, which was it was a plus because you need the drums to be just as in check as the guitar and bass in a track like this. We had strings as well as a sub layer, which I think developed that first verse, if anything else, really neatly. And I also think the synths that we had in the mid to upper range, almost a theremin-ish kind of portamento tone to them, where they go, wow, there was a sense of innocence and a glow to them that was just really satisfying to listen through. And it was really sweet. And I like the fact that we allowed both the guitar and the synths to shine, should I say, in their own respective sections. And it was just a great use of that 4 minutes. It was great use of that 4 minutes. There was no filler within it. It was a tight instrumental performance. And the theme itself with the major-ish leanings was quite upbeat, but in a relatively calm, chilled way. it was almost like we were trying to gently nudge the person in the right direction and letting them know in a caring way, hey, things are going to be all right. And I think it's just really well handled. I can understand why people enjoy it. I understand why it's being recommended. The studio recording, mixing and mastering is commercial grade. I've got no complaints about that as well. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything in there. Yeah, so it does develop in regards to its dynamic intensity over time, which is good. And it just progresses, and it's a very sort of like it makes a lot of sense to me. I'm glad. Thank you very much to Hanson for recommending it. I haven't heard a lot of Zhu Wei, but I like hearing them. I think they're a great musician, and I'm glad that thank you for sending through the lyrics as well. I'm glad I had a quick check through those before speaking on it. They do add a lot of context. That was cool. See, I think that's us for today. I think that's just the 2 comments, which is fine. I think that's okay for the first stream of the year. I haven't really got a lot else to talk about on my end. Hi, Blue Dinner Box. How you doing? Welcome to the live stream. Hopefully you are well. I'm going to have a quick look at Wang Feng's profile. I would prefer to do a YouTube version of it because I feel like people respond quite well to watching the videos of it, but my concern is that it might get blocked. Because sometimes YouTube videos get blocked. Like there's musicians like Joanna Wang where I think if I reviewed her Spotify stuff, it wouldn't get blocked. But if I review her YouTube videos, they seem to get copyright blocked worldwide. And it's tricky because I get it. But I feel like it's also pretty clear that I am not trying to replace what she's doing. But it's also how copyright law works, and that's fine. But yeah, just with Wang Feng, can I have a quick look at my channel to see if I have reviewed any stuff from Wang Feng by itself? Oh, dude, we've only done an album review. We've only done 1 album review from Wang Feng. We have never reviewed a track of his by itself on the channel. There is nothing from Wang Feng on the channel outside of the 2.5-hour album live stream that we did. So I feel like I would want to do that, but I'm not committing to it until I decide a song. But if you see a Wang Feng video on the channel, then Hanson, you can take responsibility for that because you have encouraged me. You're one of the people that have encouraged me to do that. I've changed the day that I do these live streams because I've realized that for like half of the world, it's Sunday. It's Sunday today. And so I have Saturday, where for people it's either Friday or it's Saturday. Then I have today, where in New Zealand it's a Monday, but in half the world it's a Sunday. I just feel like that's more efficient than the way I had it before, where before there were 2 weekend days, so it's maybe easier for people to see the live streams. But yeah, I don't know. I'm working that out. On Saturdays, it's a later live stream as well, so it's like in the morning, I suppose, for some people. Whereas this might be like this might be a bit early. I'm not sure, but it's okay. Either way, it's fine. Yeah. I've been thinking that I might want to find the bigger, because I'm not posting the Fiverr. Cool. So is that based in, I mean, you don't have to go into specifics, but where is that based? Roughly, where are you based where it's afternoon? Because I don't understand how I do understand how time zones work. What I really need to do is figure out where most of the people. Oh, cool. Well, there you go. That's cool. When I started doing live streaming way back with gaming, way before I knew how to do anything with this stuff, I got told that like 11 or 12 o'clock was like around the time you wanted to live stream, because of the fact that most of the people in the States, for example, it was their afternoons. So I'm glad that that's the case, because that makes sense. I suppose for some people on a Saturday, it would be like Friday evening, wouldn't it? So it would honestly probably be productive for me to also live stream on Sundays, but then it's also good to have a day off on a Sunday, you know, because I work 6 days a week at the moment. That's not a complaint, by the way. I don't mind working 6 days a week. It keeps me active, and I enjoy a lot of what I do with teaching work as well as the reviews and stuff like that. But I feel like having at least one day off per week is really it's good. It's just good to have a day where you don't do a lot, where you just kind of just sprawl out on the couch or you play. Do you guys play Path of Exile? Do you guys play Path of Exile 2? That's a good game. That's a good game. Path of Exile is a good game. I got the second one, and we've just gotten past the second act. We're in the third, my partner and I. And we are trying to do, we're in the jungle, and we've just beaten a chimera. And I think we're going to be, I don't know what we're doing next, to be fair. We versed the Witch Doctor. And the Witch Doctor was pretty wild. I don't know if you guys have played Path of Exile 2 and fought the Witch Doctor. The fire took a bit of time. I'm a warrior class, so you've got to it's a little bit trickier depending on how you play, but yeah. Don't know why the queue is 10, it's 1. Thank you to Dinnerhay for putting through a request. We're just going to check what Dinnerhay put through in a moment. What does Dinnerhay put through for us today? Dinnerhay has put through a track, and it is... What is it? Margarita plus Aina the End. Yo Nezu Kenshi and Aina the End. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's check it out. Oh, this is fun. Thank you, Danae. Just the tones are so pretty. And a call and response with the snares. Great trade-off. It's interesting because the song has a similar boom, 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 boom. It has that for most of it. But what makes it so, I think, what allows you to continue listening to it is the variations of the plethora of different instrumental layers on top of that, as well as the little trade-offs with like those little snares on the side. And again, the vocals are compelling to listen to. I assume even more so if you understand the language natively.
One time 時々 two time 飽き飽きどれもこれもただ物足りない
And even a solo section. So, like, Danae, what do you like about this track? What do you like about this? I think I should start asking people what they like about tracks. Because I think it's just as important what I have to say as what you have to say. Probably even more so what you have to say because you're the person sending it through, but you're also here, I presume, to hear my opinions on it. What is the translation of this track? What is the translation of it? Margarita. Yeah? Margarita and Iron at the end. Kenzie Show. What is the song about? I have questions. I think that... is it Margarita? Is that it? Is it about the alcohol? Is it about alcohol? Is that what the margarita is about? Is it about the margarita pizza? I'm not being facetious, by the way. I just don't know. But I think that the vocal style from both Kenshi Yonetsu and Aina the end are great. And I don't mind if they're talking about alcohol or if they're talking about pizza. To be honest, both things I think make people happy and lovey-dovey and caring. I mean, I don't know about you. I like a good pizza. It's just a really sweet performance to listen to. They both can sing, comfortable in their head and chest voices. Like they have their own verses, and I think they do come in together for harmonies and certain components. And they just follow the fundamentals of music theory and composition. They understand how to incorporate with the arrangement in the background. It's just really satisfying. Do you know what I mean? Just really satisfying. Because especially those chromatic shifts, da, 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 they go down like that. And it's awesome, man. I got lots of love for that. So I think that in that sense, we handle ourselves really well because we've got a lead melody or different sort of lead elements that are fun. They're not fun. They are, but like they're very sort of chill. Even if you don't understand the language, you can enjoy listening to them. It's very palatable. So you get past the vocals, and it's a song where the drum groove remains consistent because I think it is trying to be a dance track, but like a low-key one. It's not super upbeat and in your face and like kind of trying to smash your earbuds in or get you trying to dance along to it in a sense like too hyperactively. What I think it's trying to do is sort of be a bit more restrained about it, but it's also trying to indicate that there's a lot of fun little things to pay attention to if you want to get involved and if you pay closer attention and actively listen. Like if you actively listen to the piece, I think you're going to get a lot out of it. There is a similar chord progression throughout the track there that doesn't change a huge amount. I could have sworn I left enough of a pause for that to stop recording that. So sorry about that. Some of that wasn't captured. I'm going to have to be more careful. I think there there are all these little synth parts and pad parts and basses and little melodic percussion bits there. Like if we go to different bits of the track, there's like reverse take. While oscillating synths there, prioritizing some of the root notes. Arpeggiated lead melodies on the sides there, kind of glittering in the mid to upper range. And there are keys playing extended chords for a bit of jazzy sophistication to it. And then you have these extended drum fills as well as the chord note groove on the kick that transfers occasionally to eighths at the tempo that it's at, which is kind of dope. It might also be 16ths. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's definitely 16ths actually. There's some 16th note kicks there. Definitely some 16th note snares. But it's just such a vibrant song because you have all these things come in and out and there's so much life to it because of that. It decorates it in a way that's very elegant, and even when there is a bit of chromaticism, it's kind of playful. Da, 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 da. You know, it's very playful movement there with the way it cascades. And the fact that sometimes the vocalists do it with the instrumental parts doing that, sometimes they don't. Even in that soloist section, we had the keys in a consistent 16th note phrasing going. That came down with that as well, which was dope. And and there's breaks. And to be fair, I've just found the one part of the track which completely contradicts what I was talking about the 16th note kicks, or the quarter notes being the whole time. You had a part where they weren't. And that's smart because it breaks a track up. It's just my brain remembers that kick being consistent because that is the dominant force rhythmically throughout the track. So ultimately, it's a song where I think you passively appreciate the story and the groove of the drums. Actively, you can hear all these different nuances that make it a very mature piece. And it shows that they know how to do both. That is difficult. Do I know what the track is trying to communicate? I don't know. Musically, I think it's trying to insinuate a sense of almost a fantasy, playful situation there where you're kind of rolling and rollicking through life in a way that's not too over the top. It's not trying to weigh you down too much. It's trying to be fluffy, keep you moving forward. And you get the feeling from the man and the woman talking that maybe they're enjoying that margarita together and maybe they want to enjoy another one sometime. And the studio recording, mixing, and mastering is commercial grade. A lot of the stuff from, I assume, Japan, is the studio production has always been phenomenal, or at least it has been for the last few decades. And I love it. It's just transcendent, the way that they operate things. And I like that it isn't pushed to hell. I like the fact that there's dynamic range to it. I appreciate the notching and queuing of the different parts of the tracks within the freak spectrum. I really appreciate the way that the vocals sit in the mix and they're very sort of like content there. And I just like that they fit so much in without it feeling like too much. That's an incredibly difficult thing to do. The nice now without pumping. Great track. Thank you to Dinner Hay for your request. I really appreciate that. It's a really good song. I don't know if I love it, but I do really like it. I didn't feel a personal affiliation with it. I didn't emotionally connect with it. If I was to say one thing about music within this genre, it's a vibe, but I don't know if I can relate to it. Sup, love has limits. Happy New Year to you too. Hopefully you are well. Have you been taking care of yourself? Hopefully you have. You better. Oh, man. How was your New Year? What have you been up to? You been keeping your New Year's resolutions? You better been keeping out of mischief. I think Ko-fi has finally fixed the bug where when you reload the commissions page, it doesn't send you to the store page, which sounds like a small problem, but it means I then need to navigate back 2 or 3 pages to get back to where I was before. So I'm really glad about that. Because it's annoying when you have something that works and they break it. Yeah. There's a lot of tracks within this album. Lost Corner. The album art, I'm going to be honest. The album art is The album art is a little bit disconcerting. But I think it's creative. And 416 million plays. Have we listened to that one? Oh, that's the Chainsaw Man. That's the Chainsaw Man theme, innit? I read through the entire Chainsaw Man manga in one night. One night. And I was not the same after that. That manga, oh, dude, oh, God, it scuffed me, man. It scuffed me so bad. It just, I think that people who are anime only watching at this point have no idea what's to come, and it's going to be fantastic to see how they feel about it. Because I feel like it just doesn't give you enough information to be prepared for how it continues. Oh, go on. Go on, do it. Be brave. Be brave. Be a brave soldier. You can do it. I mean, the alternative is waiting literal years for them to get the entire thing done, and then you have the same experience. If you watch it in advance, you don't have to see it on the big unless you enjoy it. To clarify, it's really well done. It's a phenomenal manga. It's just it's heavy. If you thought that first season of Chainsaw Man was heavy, you got yourself an adventure you're going to be going on for the next bit. And the next one is soon. I think the next one with Reese or something like that, I think that's soon. It's brutal, man. But, like, do you know, I was watching a video. People complain about, hi, Jacob. How you doing? Welcome to the live stream and Happy New Year. People complain about the amount of money that they receive from digital streaming services. 2025 is good. Is 25 good? I think it's better than the start of 2024. So yeah, I would say 2025 for me is going okay. How about yours? It's nice to be talking to people. Did you guys have a good Christmas? What did you do for Christmas? Why did you do it for Christmas? What did you do for Christmas? Thank you, auto subtitles. I appreciate when you work. I need to enunciate properly. I need to talk like I have a speech impediment, probably because I do. Azalea. Right. I got distracted. I was talking about the digital streaming services. So what happened was, a good distraction, by the way. But I was talking about the digital streaming services and how people complain that they don't get paid enough. Do you know who the highest paying digital streaming service is? I learned this today. It is Peloton. Peloton pays musicians 3 cents. 3 cents USD per stream. I think Spotify is 0.0029. 0029. That's how much Spotify pays per stream. But Peloton, the bike people, the ones with the immobile bikes, they pay 3 cents per stream. And that's crazy, man. Unfortunately, I don't think that you can get onto the Peloton thing without them accepting your music. But if you think about it, all you need to do is make music that people would want to listen to whilst they're on bicycles. And then you can do really well with music. So there's food for thought. Jacob, thank you for the request. I have just found it. It did not tell me that you had put a request through. Thank you to Kofi for that. We shall now check out Jacob's track. Good. I'm glad. Oh, it's Charlie XCX. Yes. I have enjoyed my time with Charlie XCX. Thank you for more Charlie XCX. Let's do it. By the way, Jacob, I have tried listening to more hip hop recently, like a little bit more than I used to, anyways. As you've sent through a fair bit of hip hop, and it's kind of made me want to revisit it. And I don't always vibe with a lot of it, but I think a lot of the modern stuff, especially the more story-based stuff, where there's lots of different topics. It's just really cool, man. So I appreciate you motivating me to get back into that. But we've got Charlie XCX, Club Classics, thanks to Jacob.
When I go to the club, I wanna hear this club classic.
We've heard this one before in a live stream, but I'm happy to hear it again.
Club classics, club classics. When I go to the club, I wanna hear those club classics. Club classics, club classics. When I go to the club, I wanna hear those club classics. Club classics, club classics. Yeah, I wanna dance to me. I wanna dance to AG. I wanna dance with George. I wanna dance to Sophie. I wanna dance to Hub Mo. Play the track fast, not slow. Pull it back twice, let's go. Sweat marks all on my coat. Tight like my kind of flow. Yeah, I wanna be blinded by the lights.
I just love how it builds, man. And those basses, man. I mean, it's just so... It's great because you hear Charlie XCX and you appreciate her, but she's clearly paying homage to a lot of different styles that maybe they grew up with. I mean, it's not complicated. It's easy to understand what's going on. And it's kind of wild because they literally leave that bit at the end with nothing there. And when they bounced that file, they could totally have reduced the length of that end part, but they just left it there. Almost like you expect something else is going to happen, but then it doesn't. And you're like, why would I have expected that? It's just short. Nice. Good one, Jacob. Good one. I like that. Club classic. Yeah, I feel this is a track where I think Charlie XCX, and to be fair, at Blue Dinner Box, definitely you have recommended this before. I remember us listening through this. If I'm not mistaken, I think this was one of the first Charlie XCX tracks we listened through in these live streams, because we listened to a few of them. I think recently Charlie has released a remixed version of this with different musicians or something like that. I'm not sure, but either way, so this is a track where I think Charlie made it for themselves, and it slaps, man. The chord notes different. If we just go through this track again, you have that dom 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 bom 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 bom. The drums are easy. There's occasional cymbals and snares. But I want to talk about the vocals first. They're more spoken, they're more conversational. It sounds like someone who just wants to go to the club and get fucked up. And I dig that. I think that people who want to do this will relate to it. It's that kind of Brat Summer aesthetic. And it's not an over embellishing. We're not trying to sing the song. We're more trying to sort of like saunter our way with a pronounced sense of sass through it. It's about the attitude and the persona and the kind of the frustration being expressed through just wanting to be at that club, you know. And then sort of like the not melancholy, but like just the actionable indifference being put forward when we actually get the chance to do it. So I think that's cool. So I feel like the vocals are well handled there, and to be fair, there are some sung parts on the sides actually. You know, it's not just spoken. They kind of work well as so there is singing as well. It's just more of a sub-layish kind of thing, or like an alt there. And we were comfortable in our range, but we're not trying to over embellish it with like lots of different melodic tails or anything like that. We're just sort of more just kind of almost like we'd be singing along to it in a crowd or in a club or something like that, I suppose, you know. So I think that instrumentally, it's trying to capture the essence of a lot of the music that Charlie XX might have grown up with, like when she was getting into this kind of music and then got into the clubs. It's that kind of sort of bass heavy-ish kind of thing. Pulse, some of the synths were more sort of solid and sort of like palpable, and they just ride in the mix. Others, they just went whoa all over the side, almost sort of dubstep-ish kind of stuff. And there weren't always these kind of chilling, kind of really pretty airy, ethereal pads on the sides. They came in because we added instruments as we went along, almost to sort of indoctrinate the listener into a position where they are surrounded by that music. But then we take those pads away to bring it back down, and we have that focus purely on the chanting or the repetition of some of those hook lines, or the me, fuck, etc. And it's easy to understand and digest. Yeah, no, I'm glad that I caught myself saying there's clearly singing in it, but it's just not super like, I don't know. We're not trying to be operated by any means. It's that more sort of modern kind of sing talky kind of thing, if that makes sense. And you got like pitched vocals on the side as well, sort of more sort of tuned to the groove of the drums and stuff like that, where they give the chord notes. You have cymbals and snares and stuff like that, but they're less dominant than the kicks. And I also like the fact that you have that almost vinyl kind of blur and kind of fluctuation of the pitch of it, almost to make it seem like it's some sort of dream that they're having of going to the club, like it's a nostalgic kind of thing. So yeah, I feel like it's a pretty well fleshed out track there. There's different chapters and different types of bass to highlight different sections of the piece there. And I think that rhythmically it's really engaged in lots of different, it's the main sort of quarters, eighths, triplets, sixteenths approach there, as well as fasters and slowers. Thematically, it's more about the styles. I think these are the similar comments I made previously. That it's more about the styles of music that are here, as opposed to trying to make you feel a certain way with the music. It's trying to remind you of how great it is to go to the club, effectively. The pulse of the bass, the drums, people just kind of singing and dancing along, having a good time. They're kind of the scene, the mood, the vibe of it as well. It does kind of remind me, I suppose, of like kind of a fashion, like a fashion show or something, you know, like Balenciaga or something, like get involved in there. Balenciaga, should I say? Balenciaga. There we go. Thank you. You can imagine a track like this maybe not being played at the fashion show, but like an instrumental version of it potentially. I'm not sure. Maybe they would. I don't know. Either way, fantastic song. So I think that even though you had a minor feel, nah, man, sorry, I don't do free reviews. Never will. Honestly, like I just don't. It sounds harsh, but I used to. The reason I don't do free reviews is because when I used to do free reviews, there'd be too many. And then like half the people would have to wait for 2 hours, and then they might not even get their song done. So even if I did want to do them, it just wouldn't be as efficient, because even if you put in a request, you'd have to wait 2 hours, and then yeah, you might not get it done. I mean, like one time we had so many requests that we just went for 6 hours, and then there were still some more coming in at that point. So I apologize if I was being blunt there, but yeah. And unfortunately, that's why I do paid stuff. But thank you anyways for asking. I appreciate it. Yeah. Anyways, just to finish off my comments on Charlie XCX, the trick is that it's just because the arrangement isn't overcomplicated. They come in. They just, it's very easy to mix it. And so the leveling of the different instruments is very easy to follow along with. There's no sort of like confusion over how to get the bass to work with the drums, because drums are non-melodic. The pads are niched on top, EQing wise, on top of everything else in the mids to high, so they're fine. And in the vocals, when they're spoken, they're less kind of melodic, so they don't interfere as much. They don't interfere as much with what's going on with the pads of the bass. And then the sung parts harmonize neatly with them. So from a production perspective, it's very easy to do. It's very easy, but then of course the side, the way the bass synth goes to the side and stuff in that later section is complicated. Some of the stereo padding and the way the vocals are positioned is quite intense. So I appreciate both the lack of overproduction, but also the polish on what's there. It's commercial grade, it's great to listen to. Sounds authentic for the type of vibe they're going for, and it's nice and loud without pumping. So the bus compression limiting was handled, and that's just my review of this track. Thank you to Jacob for recommending it. It's good to be able to listen to it again. Yeah. Good times. Oh, we got another one. Thank you, Jacob. We got another one. What have we got here? So this is... oh, no, it did take me back. Sure, man. Sounds good. I'm happy to do it. Oh, so Kofi hasn't actually hasn't fixed it. So that's that's a vibe. I thought it had, but that's all right. Yeah, sure. So what have you got? Loads, is it really you? Hang on, you've actually got a link there, so we'll just go through the link. So yeah, this is again from Jacob. Thank you to Jacob for your request. This is Loathe. Is it really you? This is instantly, yeah, as you've said, it is very different to what you've previously put through, but I think that could be a good thing. I like the tone of the guitars in this. I like the tone of the guitars in this. There we go, thank you. I know there's more to it than that, but I think I especially like that. But the rotary verb as well is kind of almost kind of mystical. Great falsetto or head voice, I suppose. I love how he rises to that note, it's really satisfying. And just how it comes down like that, phenomenal dynamic range. Almost makes it a little bit intimate. I mean, just the soundscape is inherently intriguing. Fantastic. Awesome. I really enjoyed that. Thank you, Jacob. I'm going to have a quick look through the lyrics just really quickly. Because this was Loathe with Is It Really You? I'm trying to sort of figure out how they go together, right? Face away, deal with the pain, your own way. How could they deal with the pain? I knew that it was mine too, and you, is it really you? I feel like I don't get it. Okay, so let's just Occam's razor it. You search the sky, you and I. So it's two people searching for something, and they're trying to figure out what their own worth is. Have they lost themselves? Are they bashing against each other, trying to understand themselves better? I mean, I appreciate. I like the emo stuff. Like I'm an elder emo, from the mid 2000s. I used to listen to that stuff back then. Um, so I think it's basically, is it really you? It's someone asking you, are you really the person who I think you are? Are you who are we? We're just two stars in the sky. Um, yeah, hell yeah, man. Dude, I used to be 6'2" and 70 kilos, and I was a skinny dude with a massive fringe, and I had snake bites. I had snake bite piercings, and I had a nose ring at some point, and oh boy, I was an edgy little shit back then. I was an edgy little shit back then. It doesn't understand what I'm saying. But I love the emo stuff. I love the music from My Chemical Romance, and no, I know there's far more than that. Like from first to last, I liked Skrillex before he was Skrillex, and it's just, it was good times. There was a lot of phenomenal music. I loved Paramore. I still do, even though I don't really like their music, the newer music, that much. What about you? What older bands do you like? To get back to this track though. I think that with the vague understanding of what the song is about, Granddad Emo. Granddad Emo. It's sung really beautifully. The vocals from the guy are pure and pristine, and he just goes so neatly up into that higher note of that chorus, and it's just so elegant. And it's the reverb tails and the production on it is part of what makes it so beautiful. But it's also just that they clearly sing in a range they're comfortable with. And it's just really warm and sincere sounding. And there's range to it. There's never any overt harshness to it. Even though there's lots of grainy, gritty textures to it, it doesn't come across. And there's a nice contrast there between some of the guitar parts, for example, and the vocals. Just the way it sort of starts, though, like removing the vocals from it, which are fantastic, and with the understanding that it is someone calling out with that upper note. They're calling out to that other person to understand where they're at better, to sort of figure out their own paths and whether they're going to spend the rest of their life colliding against each other. It's a piece where it starts with the synth melody that is carried on with the guitars at a later stage. And it's such a nice introduction because it's sort of like it gives you the main musical idea of it, but in a way which is, it becomes swallowed up by just the heaviness of Sausin was awesome. I loved Sausin. I love them. They were a fantastic band, and I loved Circus Survive as well. I never heard of Finch and Taking Back Sunday. I vaguely know Matchbook Romance and Paramore are good too, but yeah, you got a good taste. You got a good taste. Those are some cool bands, man. It's great to share a chat with a fellow emo, a fellow elder granddad emo. I remember learning that I'm just gonna check if I have any other requests in the pipeline. Do I? I don't. Do I? So I don't want to make sure if there are people. Yeah, if there's people waiting on requests, I probably need to hurry up. But there was like a wave of emo before emo, as I understand it, in the 90s, with like the post-wave stuff, where it was almost like an offshoot of the goth stuff. And I think the change in the 2000s was that the emo stuff almost became like, hey, it's colorful. You show your colors. And that's the mood you're in. I remember my ex explaining it like that with the emo culture. That sort of became more of a scene thing, I think. But it's just really interesting how it evolved. So there's like the 90s emo, and then there's 2000s emo, and then there's like late 2010s, because it was like metalcore and then like progressive gent, and then it got back to the sort of the hip hop emo kind of stuff. And then we have the emo other stuff. You know what I mean? But I feel like the synth melody start of this track is really cool. We have the chugginess of the guitars. They kind of blister in that lower range there, and are very easy to just kind of nod your head along to and sort of like sit with. They add a propensity of heaviness, but not too much. The bass and the drums working with that with various different kick, snare, cymbal grooves there. Like a slower kind of sprawling sort of all-encompassing riff that does continue in variations throughout the track. You have a main idea that's represented in that chorus as well. Vocals sit on top of that quite well. And there's some ninth chords. There's some ninth chords that are bright and shiny and cherry, and they sound really clean. And I love it. I love it. And I love ninth chords and this kind of stuff. It takes away some of the edge of the distortion and makes it sound like it glows. The track at 4 minutes 47 is well fleshed out. I feel like having that break after that last chorus at the 4 minute mark where things go quiet and it kind of gets back to strumming, and then you have those reverse takes of the guitars as a different way of exploring the ideas you've had before, and we reinterpret some of those existing elements in a way which I think brings the track up. And and you don't just have distorted guitars all the time. You have some sort of rotary reverb on some of the core guitars as well, and like the verse parts, and the vocals sort of simmer over top of that, and it's very atmospheric, and you can tell there's a sense of darkness in there. But then again, the glow of some of those extended chords in the ninths and stuff kind of lets you know that even if we are bashing our heads against each other, things are going to work out in the end. I don't know where I missed this. Right. I think I was listening, but I just got lost in the music, and there was whispering and stuff like that here as well. My brain tuned into the riff, and I got lost in it. And I can actually say, like, with genuine, in all honesty, I enjoyed this song because I got lost in it. It is not something that happens often, that I kind of lose myself in a piece, because often I just don't connect with it. My brain doesn't kind of sync with the tone of it. And there's like adjustments to the side guitar layers there with the arpeggiated rotary parts. They're on top of the distorted guitar later on in the chorus as well, with the bass and drums and everything like that. It's scintillating, man. But just how the synths come back near the end, and you've got the pad-like effects on the sides, and it's kind of warbly. There's 3 to 4 different ideas which are explored in various ways throughout, instrumentally, both and in regards to interpretations. Overall, it seems like a spacey adventure wonderment. You do kind of imagine 2 stars colliding against each other in space. It's a pretty track which not only sticks with power chords and some sort of major minor chords there. It doesn't do sevenths as much. It doesn't try to complicate the emotion of it. But again, I'd feel like I'd be repeating myself if I went more on the ninths and stuff. So I think you need multiple listens to get all the different bits of nuance with it, but I appreciate my time with it. Ultimately, it's an uplifting piece in a weird way, despite the heaviness of some of the parts and the way that kind of the guitars are kind of heavy sounding and they kind of weigh you down a bit like a kiloton. But the production is tight. I appreciate the dynamic range. I'm glad that things kind of tighten down and sort of like back off a little bit. I like that we have like synth, and then we have guitar, bass, and drums and vocals, and then we have strummed, and then we have reverse takes. So much attention to detail, trying to make it interesting for the listener and themselves. And yeah, free spectrum, stereo field, well sorted, nice and loud, out pumping. It's an awesome track. It's so hard to talk about songs like this and give them the love that they deserve, because there's so many different things inside there. But I appreciate being able to listen to it. So thank you, Jacob. It's awesome. You can tell I'm a bit out of practice with this because I'm yapping, and I'm aware of it. But I'm trying. I'm trying to be more focused. Salson, right, smacked in 2000s. They did. They did. And I think South, and they came back in the late 2010s, if I'm not mistaken. There was this big concert over in Las Vegas, which had like 30 different bands from that scene. And I don't know how it went. I don't remember it going particularly well. I think there were some issues with the weather or accommodation or something like that, but at least it wasn't Fire Festival. At least it wasn't Fire Festival, am I right? Fire Festival. Fire Festival. Right, when I try to say it incorrectly, it says it correctly. Blue Dinner Box says, reminded me of some high school cringe moment in my life. I'm sorry. Thank you, though, to everyone. I think I'm going to close it. I'm going... Sup, shredders. Thanks for your requests. I'm closing the queue now, but had a great time with your songs. So I'm closing the queue now, because it is time for me to, I suppose, go and have a nap, because I feel old. But thank you to all of you who have sent through tracks today. It has been nice to listen through songs from Sweet Lily Love, Hanson Jew, Dinner Hay, and Jacob Good. If you want to find out when the next live stream is, we have the information on our Discord. I don't have the link there, but I want to put the link in the description of this live stream so that you can visit that. So I would recommend if you're keen. I think genuinely the videos on the channel from now on will either be live streams, Patreon ones, or songs that I want to check out. And one of those was the Bandmade video last night. And now that I presumably have fixed the audio issue with my microphone because of the noise thing. I'm looking forward to doing more. If you have a song you'd like me to check out in a dedicated video, feel free to let me know if you're not a patron, or if you are a patron, then you can go through the Patreon. Or if you're not a Patreon, then you can go through the Patreon, whichever suits. But thank you for your time. Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next live stream. Stay cool, shredders. Spiderhands up. 3, 2, 1.